Ever feel like your ADHD symptoms are spinning out of control, even though you've been managing them for years? You might forget things that used to be second nature, struggle to focus on tasks that were once easy, or feel constantly irritable and overwhelmed. It can feel like your brain is betraying you, or like your ADHD is suddenly worse for no reason. The truth is, perimenopause, the stage before menopause, can amplify ADHD symptoms in a very real and very frustrating way. The good news is you're not imagining it, and with the right support, you can feel more steady and in control again. Whether that's adjusting your ADHD strategies, improving sleep, or talking with a doctor about hormone-related changes. So today I'll walk you through what we know about what's changing in your brain and your body during perimenopause, how it affects your focus, mood, and sleep, and how to adjust your support so your ADHD feels more manageable. This is ADHD where we talk about everyday life and ADHD. I'm your host, Dr. J. I'm a licensed psychologist who works with those with ADHD. If the challenges that you've managed for years are suddenly spiking with age, this episode is for you. Perimenopause is the stage before menopause when hormone levels, especially estrogen and progesterone, fluctuate unpredictably. It typically begins in mid-40s, sometimes as early as the late 30s, and can last anywhere from 2 to 8 years. Estrogen plays a role in multiple brain systems relevant to ADHD. Estrogen influences dopamine availability in the brain. ADHD is characterized by dopamine dysregulation. When estrogen drops during perimenopause, dopamine regulation can become even more unstable. Next is executive function. Brain regions responsible for planning, working memory, and task initiation are affected by estrogen fluctuations. And then lastly here, emotional regulation. Hormonal shifts can intensify emotional reactivity, which is already heightened with ADHD. When estrogen levels fluctuate unpredictably, these systems become less stable. The brain regions that were already struggling to manage ADHD symptoms now have less support. So let's look at what this might look like. Forgetfulness can become worse. So forgetting appointments you wrote down, losing track of conversation mid-sentence, or walking into a room forgetting why. Focus can become more scattered, so it's harder to sustain attention even on tasks you care about. You can be more distractible than usual and also have difficulty switching between tasks. Mood swings and irritability can intensify. So this can look like snapping at people you love, going from calm to overwhelmed in seconds, less patience for everyday frustrations, or crying more easily or feeling more emotionally raw. For many, the state of overwhelm can feel constant. So everything can feel like it's too much all the time. It can be harder to prioritize or make small decisions, and things that are small can feel monumental. It's not that your ADHD is suddenly worse. Your brain is reacting to changes in hormones. This isn't your symptoms or medication not working anymore. This isn't something wrong that you're doing. This is biology. The strategies that worked for years may genuinely not be enough right now because the neurobiological landscape has shifted. You need to adjust your supports, not blame yourself for struggling. The good news is that having this information can help you to prepare for it. Now let's discuss the impact that ADHD and perimenopause can have on daily life. These changes don't just feel annoying, they can take a real toll on your relationships, your work life, and your self-esteem. When ADHD and perimenopause overlap, the impact can have a ripple effect throughout every part of your day. First, let's look at relationships and emotional reactivity, both at work and at home. Here's some examples. It can look like snapping at your partners, kids, or coworkers more than usual, less patience with everyday requests, struggling to manage workplace conflict, or second-guessing yourself more often. Typically, there's mismatched expectations. Your family may not understand why you're suddenly struggling more. You were managing fine before, so what changed? Without understanding perimenopause's role, this can be interpreted as a lack of effort, creating tension. Now let's look into work and productivity. Examples here can be things like projects you could handle smoothly, but now they feel overwhelming. Taking longer to start or finish work, missing deadlines despite working really hard, or difficulty making decisions that used to feel straightforward. What you find out is your systems just aren't cutting it anymore. Planners that used to help now feel inadequate. Routines that were reliable now feel impossible to maintain. Medication timing or effectiveness may shift. And frustration and self-blame when your go-to tools stop working. I also need to spend some time on the vicious cycle of sleep disruptions. Sleep problems are extremely common in perimenopause. Nightly waking, hot flashes, and lighter sleep that's harder to reach deep restorative stages. So let's talk about why this matters for ADHD. Poor sleep significantly worsens executive function, emotion regulation, and impulse control. When you're already managing ADHD, sleep deprivation becomes catastrophic. So here's what that cycle can look like. Perimenopause disrupts sleep. Poor sleep worsens ADHD symptoms. Worse symptoms increase stress. Stress makes sleep harder. Now we're back to rinse and repeat. Now let's talk about the emotional toll. Self-esteem takes a hit. I can already hear the flood of thoughts. Why can't I handle things like I used to? Everyone else seems fine. What's wrong with me? I'm failing at everything right now. There can also be an experience of shame and frustration, feeling like you're letting everyone down, frustration that your brain isn't working, isolation because you don't want to be a burden to others. But here's the good news. There are ways to reclaim control over your focus, mood, and energy. Here are some strategies to help manage ADHD symptoms during perimenopause. The goal here isn't to fight against your brain. It's to adjust your support so they match what your brain and body need right now. The first thing I want to talk about is tracking patterns to anticipate your hard days. So it's really important to understand that hormones fluctuate throughout your cycle. And this is if you're still having periods. And unpredictably, if your cycle is irregular. Tracking can help you to identify patterns. One thing I would suggest here is to try a simple tracking log. So things to track would be like mood on a scale of 1 to 10, energy on a scale of 1 to 10, and focus and concentration on a scale of 1 to 10. You also want to look at your sleep quality, your menstrual cycle phase if applicable, and lastly, ADHD symptom intensity. How this helps? Well, patterns emerge. You might notice focus is worse in the week before your period, or your mood dips happen consistently around certain times. When you can anticipate high-risk days, you can do things like schedule important things on better days whenever that's possible to do, build in extra support on harder days, lower your expectations across the board instead of forcing yourself to push through. Communicate with your partner or team. So this can be something like, this week is rough for me. I may need a little patience. Number 2 is to prioritize sleep. Seriously. Sleep disruptions worsen everything. Making sleep a priority isn't optional, it's essential. So here's some sleep hygiene basics. You want a consistent bedtime and wake time, even on the weekends. Limit your screen to 1 hour before bed. Blue light can affect melatonin. Keep your bedroom cool because this will help with hot flashes. Use blackout curtains or an eye mask. And then lastly, a white noise machine or fan for sound consistency. And here are a few cooling strategies for hot flashes. So you might want to wear moisture wicking sleepwear, get a cooling pillow or mattress pad, leave a fan by your bed, or keep ice water nearby. If sleep problems persist, talk to your doctor about options. Sleep deprivation isn't sustainable and will undermine almost every other strategy. Number 3, and I've already alluded to this, is to adjust your ADHD supports that may need a little updating. So what worked before may genuinely need tweaking now. An example of this is medication. Talk to your prescriber about whether or not dosing or timing needs adjustment. Some people need higher doses during perimenopause. Others need different timing. Be specific. So since perimenopause started, my medication doesn't seem to last as long. You may also need external scaffolding. This can look like more reminders. So if 1 alarm worked before, maybe you need 3. More visual cues, so Post-its, phone wallpapers, and also lower the bar. If you used to handle 5 things, aim for 3. And body doubling when possible, because it can make a difference. And lastly here is to simplify systems. Be kind to yourself and find ways to remove unnecessary steps. Have the plan be the simplest that it can be and still be functional and get you to your goal. Number 4 is to consider therapy or coaching. Professional support can help you navigate this transition. Cognitive behavioral therapy, or CBT, can help in a lot of ways. It can help people challenge distorted thoughts. So things like I'm failing can turn into I'm managing a difficult transition. Another thing CBT is great at is developing coping strategies for mood swings and overwhelm, and address anxiety or depression that may intensify during perimenopause. There's also ADHD coaching. So this can help by updating systems and strategies for current brain functioning, also accountability and problem solving, and lastly, helping to identify what's working versus what needs to change. Number 5 is to support your body through nutrition, movement, and stress management. Both ADHD and perimenopause symptoms improve with foundational lifestyle support. From a nutrition perspective, this is what this can look like. Regular meals that help regulate blood sugar stability, protein at every or most meals, which can support dopamine production, omega-3 fatty acids, which support brain health, and also limiting caffeine and alcohol because both can worsen sleep and mood swings. A part of this is also movement, and this is what that can look like. Regular exercise helps with mood, sleep, focus, and hot flashes. So find something that you'll actually want to do. Walking, dancing, swimming, strength training. Consistency matters more than intensity. And then lastly here, stress management. Stress worsens both ADHD and perimenopause symptoms. Even 5 minutes daily can help of deep breathing, meditation, stretching, or self-compassion strategies. Number 6 is to consider hormone replacement therapy, or HRT. This decision should be made with a healthcare provider who understands your full medical history. So HRT involves taking estrogen and often progesterone to stabilize hormone levels during perimenopause. For some people, HRT can significantly improve brain fog, mood, and sleep, which in turn helps ADHD symptoms. You want to talk to your doctor if symptoms are severely impacting quality of life, sleep disruptions are persistent, mood changes are overwhelming, or you just want to explore whether HRT might help. Not everyone is a candidate for HRT, and it's not right for everyone. But for those who are good candidates, it can be life-changing. Many of my patients have taken this option, and I've seen a marked improvement. Number 7 is to lower expectations on harder days and plan for flexibility. Perfectionism doesn't work when you have perimenopause. Flexibility does. On hard days, survival mode is okay. Focus on essentials only. You also want to communicate. Let people know that you're having a hard day and you may need to reschedule or need more patience or need some level of assistance. Rest isn't lazy, it's strategic. Tomorrow might be a little better for you. You don't need to overhaul your entire life. Small, targeted adjustments can make a real difference. When you understand what's happening in your brain and body, you can respond with strategy instead of self-blame. Remember, if things feel hard lately, that doesn't mean you're doing something wrong. What's happening makes sense. Your hormones are shifting. Your brain is adjusting. And when you already have ADHD, that adjustment is a whole lot. Perimenopause can amplify challenges with focus, memory, sleep, and emotional regulation. But understanding why it's happening gives you power. You don't need to become someone new. You may just need updated supports for this stage of life. Having this information means that you can plan ahead for the change and be prepared. And my personal advice is to bring some levity to it. Maybe join the We Don't Care Club created by Milani to provide humor and support to women who are going through this. Because everything is better with the help from our communities. That's it for this episode of ADHD And. If this resonated with you, check out our episode on ADHD and menopause, where we dive into how symptoms can shift even further and what strategies help during that stage. If you're a woman who is currently going through this or successfully made it to the other side, help out your fellow human and let us know what's worked for you in the comments. Thanks so much for joining me, and make sure to subscribe for more ADHD resources and support like this.